In this video, we're going to look at solving quadratic equations by using the square root theorem. This is going to go along with homework assignment number 11. Now, these problems are just going to say solve. They're not going to give you a method. What you need to realize that to use this square root theorem, you have a squared term in your problem and you have a number term in your problem. You do not have an x term. You have a square and a number, but no x. Now that's how you're going to know to use this method. The first thing you want to do is to get the number on one side. So when I move the negative 10 over, it becomes a positive 10. Now I'd like to get that square by itself, so I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So that gives me x squared equals 5. Now, I'm going to take the square root of both sides of this equation. The square root of x squared is x. The square root of 5 is just going to be left the square root of 5. But you remember that when you take the square root of an expression, you'll always get a plus or minus. Now in my math lab, I think they're going to leave your answer in this form. Square root of 5, comma, negative square root of 5. And that represents your two answers. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Now again, you're going to recognize this problem because there's a square and there's a number. So first, let's get the number by itself, negative 12. Now let's divide by 4, and that'll be x squared equals negative 3. I'm going to take the square root of both sides, so this side will be x, and this side will be square root of negative 3. Now remember, it's going to be plus or minus. Now in the set of real numbers, you know that we can't take the square root of a negative number. But using imaginaries, we can know that the square root of negative 1 is equal to I. So I'm going to take this negative out and I'm going to call it I, and that leaves the square root of 3 underneath. My answer will be I square root of 3 and negative I square root of 3. Okay, let's do another. This one I have a square and I have a number. This already set up good. All I have to do is get the square by itself. So x squared equals 6. Take the square root of both sides, and remember you have to have plus or minus, and then when you write your answers will be square root of 6 and negative square root of 6. Okay, I have one more on the handout sheet that you have. It's set up exactly right. Here's my square and my number. I'm going to divide by 3. That'll be x squared equals 11. Take the square root of both sides, and that will be x equal plus or minus square root of 11. Or the answer will be square root of 11 and negative square root of 11. Now remember, these are quadratic equations. The problems probably will not tell you to use this method, but you'll know to use this method because you have a square term and a number. You do not have an x term.